Americans are asking, just what will our energy future look like? Well, it could look very bright.
Remember the wheels turning behind the scenes, delivering for millions of Americans every day.
Murderous mobsters, meth dealers, brothel keepers, corrupt cops, and serial killers. 50 years ago, these men would not have been allowed anywhere near an American living room, but today they are in millions of homes and sometimes every night. When it comes to the battle over hearts and minds, the bad guys have officially won.
Next on News 7, why your kitchen may just be the most dangerous room in your house.
We gotta get out of here.
Next, why your treehouse is even more dangerous than your kitchen.
We gotta get out of here.
Think you're safe under a queen-size bed in the guest room? Well, you're dead wrong.
People talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie, but you watch the planes hit the towers.
As they say, everybody says on TV, it was like a war zone.
It's like you're in a movie, and it's like everybody's playing a part, and we're all acting or something like that. It's just doesn't seem real to you that this is occurring.
Like, it was crazy. I mean, I can't even believe we survived that.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie.
Yeah, and it's absolutely out of a movie.
This is better than a movie. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, seriously, right? What's happening?
This is unbelievable.
Hey, Matt, the Royal Band out here was just playing There's No Business Like Show Business. That was kind of interesting. So anyway,
So we do have a bit of theatrics here, which I think is quite wonderful.
And you said it felt like being in a movie.
It felt like it was in the movie.
These were the two actors. These were the two individuals that were carrying out this mission.
And who's not an actor in Hollywood?
Yeah.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with the FCC and other authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed. In the event of an emergency, you would have been instructed where to tune in your area for news and official information.
And we were told on a loud announcement that we shouldn't be concerned if this was just a drill. They kept making announcements saying to the participants, do not worry, this is just a training exercise. Absolutely, they did run a drill.
According to BostonGlobe.com, they said they were doing drills this morning for the same exact thing that happened.
That was their first hint that anything was wrong. It is a scene that is hard to imagine, and obviously there is a lot of shock, a lot of sadness here.
I must say it's reminded me of, I was in Oma when that happened in 1998, and I was in London for the 7/7 bombings, and while the devastation here does not match either Oma or London, I think the mood and the sentiment is very similar. And I see it today. I mean, I just coming down the street and I high-fived the firefighter I know.
And he wasn't afraid to use theatrics. You know what? It was all lies. They watched it all and drank it all in, as they have every day.
The greatest nation on earth cannot keep conducting its business by drifting from one manufactured crisis to the next. But with this endless parade of distractions and political posturing and phony scandals.
Specifically, we can take steps to make sure civil liberties concerns have an independent voice in appropriate cases by ensuring that the government's position is challenged by an adversary. We need new thinking for a new era. Unless we discipline our thinking, our definitions, our actions, we may be drawn into more wars we don't need to fight.
It smells like lies.
Smells good to me.
On some level, sadly, there is always a sucker somewhere. It seems all too often someone somewhere will buy it. The United States of America is still holding people who have been charged with no crime on a piece of land that is not part of our country. Look at the current situation.
So you did hide information in addition to lying, right?
Yes.
But the detective isn't the only person that you lied to, right?
That's right.
You lied to a lot of people, right?
Everyone.
And there's different reasons that you had for lying to everyone, right?
Yes.
This is right out of a spy novel.
I want to have, as part of the gun initiative, though, an informational campaign to really change the hearts and minds of people in Washington, D.C., and in particular our young people. They are saturated in the media and in entertainment, or by the entertainment industry, with violence. And I think too many of our young people, in particular our young men, are fascinated with violence, and in particular fascinated with guns. And what we need to do is change the way in which people think about guns, especially young people, in the way in which we've changed our attitudes about cigarettes. You know, when I was growing up, people smoked all the time. I mean, both my parents did. But over time, we changed the way in which people thought about smoking, and so now we have people who cower outside of buildings and kind of smoke in private and don't want to admit it. And that's what I think we need to do with guns, really change the way in which people think about guns. Now, this is not going to be something that's very easy to do because we are, quite frankly, fighting something that appears, you know, every day on television, on the radio, in our popular music, in movies that these kids are exposed to. It will be an effort that will entail things that I'm really not familiar with. I think I'm a pretty good lawyer, but we need to get really innovative, creative things that are going to grab the attention of these kids and change, as I said, the way in which they think about guns. And so what I've asked is that the creative community in Washington, those ad agencies that create these snappy ads and make me buy things that I don't really need, devote that talent in a more constructive way so we can get at the minds of these young people. This informational campaign, I've also called on the newspapers and the television stations to devote to us time and space so that we can get these ads, so we can use these spots, and not to give us 1, 2 o'clock in the morning ads when nobody's watching, but at the time when people, particularly young people, are watching television, so that they'll see these ads and they'll be grabbed by these ads. I've also asked people who have influence over youngsters, entertainers, athletes, to be involved in this program as well. But not only them, community leaders, Jesse Jackson, Mayor Barry, people who have credibility with young people should be on the television, on the radio, as much as we possibly can, and telling these youngsters that it's wrong to carry a gun, and that if you have information about people who are carrying guns, you've got to share that with Chief Thomas and with his people as well. I've also asked the school board to make a part of every day some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message. Every day, every school, at every level. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
I have been brainwashed, and
like in a sinister way.
Yes.
He had to jump. He utilized the media. I don't think we've seen anything like this. This guy is right out of a horror movie, allegedly. And if you look at everything that he's done, it's basically mimicking what you see in pop culture, horror flicks, games, and he's playing everybody off each other.
This was an intentional act that certainly raises the stakes quite a bit. It's horrendous no matter what the intent was, but the fact that this individual left the scene.
Venice is known for its entertaining street attraction.
This whole thing was just one great big joke. He thought it was funny.
Theatrics inside and outside an Oklahoma courtroom today.
Boulder told the judge he didn't get a fair trial, calling it a sham.
I'm here to promote it. Hope it's a sold-out show, but I don't want anyone's expectations to be too high as to what my performance will be.
For the part that I have played, and I take responsibility for putting the city through a very bad time, again, I apologize to all of you.
No, my managers told me that I can't do that until the night of the performance, which is tonight.
Tyson was able to remake himself as an actor. Appearing in movies and on TV.
With Mike Tyson, you just never know, because he's been so many personas. There have been so many Mike Tysons over the years that you never know what's genuine.
He's not ready for a TV name quite yet, but if she ever wakes up and starts doing something TV related, perhaps we could give her something.
Absolutely. I mean, who thought that central banking could become so exciting, like a soap opera?
Organizers really don't know precisely how many people are going to show up. I can tell you I see a few hundred who have already started to gather. The speeches are going to start.
Well, I certainly was amazing. We were making movies that were trying to shock the world, and they did. When I've seen the terrible things that happen not only to the victims and their families, but to the families of Leslie Van Houten and what she has gone through, and as I feel, have been in jail for 40 years and has taken full responsibility for her part in the acts. And people don't know the whole story, and they look at it and they just think it's like a horror movie.
A beloved figure skater, Kerrigan captured America's imagination.
Nicely done!
A family legacy with much joy, great pain, and many chapters yet to be written.
The fact is, what everyone remembers is that Nancy Kerrigan was the good girl in the play.
I imagine this was not a good scene.
Oh, it was horrific. It was so grimming. It was so surreal. It felt like a horror movie.
Complete chaos. Everything. It was like something out of a horror movie.
Many witnessed an uncanny resemblance to the Hitchcock movie, The Birds. But they are surprised to hear it's more of a mystery.
Millions every night. You look up at the sky, it's just black.
The mystery is unraveling like scenes from a movie.
They don't seem to know anything. Nobody knows anything. Just kind of freaked everybody out.
Officials will confirm their findings when they get the test results. Until then, they are given these possible scenarios: lightning, stress, high-altitude hail, or startled by fireworks. But neighbors just want answers.
It's something out of a movie, exactly. They're not telling us anything. I'd like to know. Kind of spooky. You never know what's going to happen.
Strange events similar to this have occurred across the globe a number of times.
You know, there's 100 different scenarios have gone through my head of what happened, and no one makes any sense, and it's surreal right now. And you've been trained, you've taken the, protection and everything like that and use it.
I really thought it was a training exercise where, smoke's in the air and gunshots going off, but it'll be over in a minute.
A lot of people were watching TV, some people were sleeping, and didn't notice what was going on.
It was surreal. It was like a movie. It really was. It just didn't look real. It just didn't look real.
Something really bizarre has just happened, but we're going to be okay. And we're fine. We're in Vegas now, so we're fine.
The victim is talking about the craziness that he says was captured on video.
A dramatic scene that played out actually just across the street from us here at 30 Rock. A cab crashed into a crowded sidewalk and severely injured a tourist, a woman who owes her life perhaps to a group of good Samaritans, including one you'll recognize, Dr. Oz.
Wow, I never seen a plane flying so low. And we looked out at it, all of a sudden, boom, it seemed like it wasn't even real.
It's horrific. I can't believe this is happening.
There is nothing in reality you can compare it to. It was just not in reality.
With every flood comes a flood of emotions. Every fire, a momentary spark of uncertainty and loss of control. And when it's your home, your business, or your belongings that become damaged, you don't just want things clean. You want your life back as well. And that's where ServPro comes in. A company with over 30 years of leadership in cleanup and restoration. A track record of results that have earned the trust of the entire insurance industry, countless homeowners, and in one unforgettable instance, even the Pentagon. We're a team of specialists highly trained in cleanup and care for both home and homeowner. Quietly take to the streets every hour of every day, proving that wherever there's a house full of water or an office filled with smoke, there's also a van full of clean. Piloted by men and women devoted to turning back that tide of uncertainty, and doing it not by working for the homeowner, but by working with them, developing a plan, laying out expectations, moving quickly, and doing the job right. All the while remembering that no disaster is small when it's yours. and that what matters most isn't the storm, but the calm of reassurance created afterward. So that when the fire and waters finally do recede, so does all memory of the damage. ServPro. Fire and water cleanup and restoration, like it never even happened.
Hey, they're coming. Yeah, British. Later. Sorry. Okay.
Brewers. Blacksmith. Monkey. The dance. Hot stew Saturday.
The British are coming! The British are coming! Wait. It's the Italians.
certain that we stand at a defining hour. Halfway around the world, we are engaged in a great struggle in the skies and on the seas and sands. We know why we're there. We are Americans, part of something larger than ourselves. For 2 centuries, we've done the hard work of freedom, and tonight we lead the world in facing down a threat to decency and humanity. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future. If it is possible, I want to continue to build a lasting basis for U.S.-Soviet cooperation for a more peaceful future for all mankind. The triumph of democratic ideas in Eastern Europe and Latin America, and the continuing struggle for freedom elsewhere, all around the world, all confirm the wisdom of our nation's founders. Tonight, we work to achieve another victory, a victory over tyranny and savage aggression.